Welcome back. Love is in the air and in the cubicle, apparently. The number of workers reporting office romances is at a 10-year high, according to Career Builder's annual Valentine's Day survey. 41% of workers now say they've dated a coworker. That's up from 37% who said the same last year. Joining us right now to weigh in, conservative columnist Dr. Gina Loudon. Gina, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So your thoughts on that, love in the workplace?
Yeah, probably not a good idea. Most of it doesn't end well, Maria. And you think about this, you're not only getting the person, you're getting the pressures of the job with that person. And then if it doesn't end well, you probably still have to see that person every single day at work. So generally speaking, not a good plan.
Not a good plan. Well, the good news is 30% of office romances apparently led to marriage. It's not always happily ever after, we know that. 5% say they left a job after the relationship went sour. So what do you guys think? Do you think companies should be doing something about this? Does the boss need to get involved?
That seems pretty risky as well. I'm actually curious to know if Gina thinks this is happening more often because people are spending more time at the office. Has this become the primary
point?
Is this the primary social connection point for people?
It definitely
and that's why it's happening?
Yeah, it definitely is happening more often. They've noticed, I think, a 10% increase over the last few years in office romances. And it's not only because people are spending more time at the office, but it's because of mediums like social media that facilitate those relationships. And also because since people work longer hours and travel more, the traveling component of that can cause some of those sparks to fly as well.
You know, it's
in a good way.
We've been talking this morning, Gina, that there's this election anxiety that seems to not be going away. People are still anxious. Mental health experts say that they're seeing more signs of stress, especially among opponents of President Trump. According to one online survey, 71% of respondents who supported Hillary Clinton said that they were living with high stress levels. What do you make of it?
Well, I make of that thanks to people like you, those of us who tune into news media that aren't biased, we don't have so much of a problem because we're getting the real, true story. I mean, politics in general, Maria, as you know, can be a little scary for people to absorb. And people like to think of it as a negative thing that you're not supposed to discuss at Christmas or Thanksgiving. But some of us realize that there are solvable problems and that some of the things that government can do, either to get out of the way or to maybe make things a little better for business or whatever, can make life better. So some people can be less stressed if they pay attention to what's really going on, like market indications and things like that that improve with different cycles of politics and things like that. So it depends on, I think, honestly, where you're getting your news. If you're listening to fear-mongering, probably going to be scared.
Well, I have a question because, you know, we're talking about office romances, but we also know so many romances, people are breaking up as a result of political differences right now. In the office, I have heard from so many folks that I've talked to, I go out there speaking about Trump, trying to help people understand what just happened, and they're saying, I can't even say out loud that I voted for Trump. I'm still afraid what my boss is going to say about this. What do you think is happening in workplace relationships around, you know, people's view of politics and their relationships with each other right now?
I think that's a great question because this is the thing. We're talking less, I think, honestly and openly than we used to perhaps talk about politics. And that, too, of course, can add to the stress level. If you're not discussing it, you're not working through things, you know, verbally processing issues that are alarming to you, then you are more likely to be stressed out about it. So I think that does probably contribute to some of the stress that we're seeing in our culture today.
Gina, how do we get past this political climate where if you like Trump, then you're racist or sexist? If you like President Barack Obama, that means that you support black people, but you don't support police officers and the likes. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
How we've just drawn lines, complete political lines, and this means that you're either a sexist, racist, or, you know, you're anti-Semitic. That has to have some effect on stress levels for people.
It really does. I think we need to get out of that. You remember in your Psych 101 learning about concrete operational thinking that children do where everything's either black or white and you can't think in the gray area. So you can't say that, hey, maybe perhaps someone, you know, could be black and could also support first responders, those kinds of things. But if you start to look at those gray areas and have conversations, I think, especially in the workplace, about how things aren't always completely easily defined and that there is a massive gray area, I think that's where people can begin to find find common ground and perhaps to chill a little bit, because we really could use a big dose of that, especially these days. And things are looking good. The future looks bright. And I think that focusing in on that is another way to sort of dispel some of the fear-mongering going on the covers of newspapers and headlines all over the country.
You're right, Gina, and I'm glad you said that, because the future does look bright, especially when you talk about jobs and the economy. Gina Loudon, good to see you. Thank you so
Good to
much,
see you. Thanks, Maria.
Dr. Gina Loudon there.